Hello friends, welcome back to Night Court Narrative. I am Elvish. Hi. Yeah, today we have That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This book I have seen everywhere. Oh my god, I have seen it everywhere. It's been on my, I guess, my wish list, because I have a TBR and I have a wish list. It's been in my wish list for about a year, maybe a year and a half now. And it's all over TikTok. It's all over just social media as a whole. And I finally was like, you know what? I am sick and tired of everyone telling me that this is such a fantastic book. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get it over with and I'm going to read it. And they were actually right. I gave this book a 4.5. I would have given this book a 5-star rating if the ending wasn't as predictable. But let me rephrase, or let me preface this by saying, like, if you guys don't usually read thrillers, this might be a 5 out of 5. You might not understand, like, or you might not be able to predict the ending. A lot of ratings that I saw, majority of people weren't able to predict the ending, but I do read a lot of thrillers and I do see, like, I'm able to predict endings of sorts, and I definitely did kind of see this one coming, so it did take a little 1/2 star off for me. But if I am being honest, this book is definitely worth the 5 stars that it is getting, so I'm not gonna hate if anyone does give it a 5-star. But honestly, this book is really good because it gets you hooked from chapter 1. The writing style in this book is phenomenal. I literally mean phenomenal. One of my favorite writing styles that I have read so far. I do have a few authors that I really like because of their writing style, and I do believe that Megan is going to become one of those authors. I do have to read a few more of her books to kind of like see if the consistency is there, but from this being my very first book by her, I do really love the writing style, and I do really think it's very easy to digest, and it's definitely one that you can consume rather quickly. So I did appreciate that. This book was a dual POV, so we have what we assume her name is Mary, and we have her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. They take turns, obviously, sharing their sides. Drew, which is the boyfriend, is attempting to find the kidnapper of his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, and of course Mary is quote-unquote the ex-girlfriend that was kidnapped, and we get to see it from her point of view with said kidnapper, and we get to see Drew's point of view with fighting against law enforcement and doing everything he can after everyone put a bullseye on his forehead saying that he was the murderer, and so on and so forth. So we do get to see a little bit of like hardship with that, because obviously, you know, in the book he's trying to convince even you as a reader that he 1000% didn't do what everyone is accusing him of doing, but everyone is pointing their fingers making you believe that he did. And then we have Mary on the other hand. You know, the father, I guess, air quotes, the father that ends up retrieving her, seems like a decent dude. He doesn't really have that many red flags, in my personal opinion. At the beginning, I will say, at the beginning, but throughout the book, you do kind of see a little bit more things pop up, and even she starts noticing, like, you know, that's kind of weird. But he actually seems like a genuinely decent person, until, of course, the plot twist comes out, and you find out that he is a fucking raging lunatic. But I did find the ending of the book kind of sad. Not to like shed tears sad, but it was pretty sad. Obviously we do spoilers here, so I'm gonna give you the next 5 seconds to click out of the video if you don't want the spoiler. 4, 3, 2, I warned you. So we did find out that Mary was in fact not Lola, which is the ex-girlfriend that we are definitely trying to find. We do find out that Lola was the victim before her, and she got murdered. And unfortunately, Mary is a completely different girl, but was was kidnapped. Excuse me. Jesus. She was kidnapped by the same guy that did kidnap Lola and all of the others. So luckily we did get to save someone in this book, but it was not the person we were meaning to save. So that was kind of cool. It's like a new friendship type thing that's going on at the end. And we get a really good tiny little memorial for Lola and all of that. And yeah, no, I really, really did enjoy this book. I thought this book was so very well written. The horror aspect was pretty good too. I wouldn't say that this is... I probably shouldn't have said horror aspect because it's not very thrilly or suspenseful in my personal opinion. It doesn't really have any of that going for it in my personal opinion. However, I do think the plot twist was good enough, and it did have it did make you wonder what's happening, and it did give you the whole clue whodunit type thing. So I thought that was really good. Although the book did already set up, like, this guy obviously kidnapped her. So, like, we already knew who the kidnapper was quite literally from, like, chapter 3. But it doesn't give you any of the plot twists or anything like that until much later in the book. So I do think this was a very well written book. I, again, love the writing style. I cannot say that enough. Like, I literally cannot say that enough because so many writing styles lately, or even books that have just come out, have been so hard to read because I feel like the author is either dumbing their writing down so much to speak to a certain crowd, or they're just trying to sound so overly sophisticated that it makes no sense, and you're just like, what the fuck am I reading? But this book was actually very well done. I do applaud that. This is definitely a book that is gonna go down in my mental history for a while. It's definitely a memorable book, so I do appreciate everyone for recommending it. For once, TikTok did get it right. So I don't know, that was really short. It was a very, very short book. There's really nothing more. I do wish that the plot twist was a little more twisty. I understand finding out that it's not the girl we thought it was the entire time does kind of fucking suck, and that should have been like, oh my god, mind blown. But I mean, I read a lot of thriller. I watch a lot of horror, suspenseful, psychological thrillers, stuff like that. So it didn't, for me personally, it didn't, oh my god, but it was like a, oh fuck, you know? So, I don't know. I really, really, really loved this book, and I know this probably wasn't even a good review, but I really wanted to discuss it because I just didn't want to go without talking about it. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. But yes, if you have read this book, let me know what you thought. If you want to read this book, definitely let me know what you thought. And if you want to read this book, why did you stay until the ending? I told you I was going to spoil it, and then you stayed? Disappointing. But either way, I hope y'all have a fantastic day. And I'm so sorry for the short video today, but I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.